Welcome to AdTalkOC, the show that highlights creative minds in Orange County. Today we sit down with Luke Mysse from West America Printing. We're diving into print, branding, and what makes marketing really stand out in today's digital world. Let's get started.
We are at Row Creative, which is in Costa Mesa, California. We thank them so much for allowing us to film here. You should check out Row Creative as well. They have cool mugs. And I am here with Luke Mysse, CMO of West America Printing. Thank you for coming, Luke.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, how long have you lived in Orange County?
Oh gosh, I've been here probably since second grade, third grade. So been here a long time. I would say I've been here my whole life. Came very young with my parents. Actually moved from North Dakota and originally from Montana. So
Cool.
we came from a town of 600 people to Tustin. So I remember the culture shock of coming into Orange County. Like, wow, this place is actually pretty big. So
Yeah. I bet. Wow. So yeah, because Tustin now probably has like 600,000 people.
right. Yeah, exactly. There's a few more. My dad tells a story about selling their house when they left for $14,000, which is different than here, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. Okay. And so when did you start with West America Printing?
West America was a vendor actually originally. So I've known Doug, the owner, for, maybe 30 years, pretty close to 30 years. So I had an agency at the time and would buy print from them. So they were one of my vendors. And so we've kind of been in and out of each other's lives a number of times. But I started there as a consultant about 6 years ago, and then kind of full-time about 3 years ago.
So cool. So Luke, how did you get started in this industry?
I actually grew up in it. My dad was in printing and graphics. And so as far back as I can remember, I've been around it. And was always super artistic as a kid and enjoyed doing design. And so started in graphic design as a way to make a living and not be the starving artist. I also, because I grew up in a business environment, had an interest in business. And so I've always kind of, straddled both of those worlds of being creative, but also very business-minded for a creative. And then early in my career, ran a creative agency, branding agency. Because of my background in print, I bought a lot of print in my years and have been around it, using it as a marketing tactic for clients. And actually West America, where I work now, was actually one of my vendors. And so I bought print from them. That's how I got to know the owner. And it's all kind of come full circle now with me working there.
And I've seen the stuff that you guys do. You guys were involved with the American Advertising Awards, right? And all the stuff that you guys come up with, it's like, wow, this is some really cool stuff. It's not just like you think, oh, printing, I'm going to make some brochures. Right. It's more than that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think it's a really creative vehicle. I think it has an opportunity to engage people in a very tangible way and create an experience that maybe digital doesn't. I also think there's a lot of digital fatigue. And so I think print, it's different now than when I started and how it's used. I think there was a lot more print that was used for information, just to get information out. Like you mentioned, the brochures and stuff, where now it's more about creating an experience with unboxing or how packaging works and things like that. So, and I think it's actually a little bit of it complements digital really well. Digital has kind of become the place where information is readily available. Mm-hmm. And so print now has a little bit different role, which I think is interesting.
So you're saying print is not dead?
Print is not dead.
Nice.
But I have to say that, right? Because I'm a printer. So
of course.
It's required.
Yeah, that makes sense. So was there something as you were going through your career, was there a moment when it kind of defined how it is that you want it, like what you want how you can help brands express themselves?
Yeah, I don't know if it was necessarily a moment, but I feel like because I didn't go to college, I didn't know kind of what the rules of the game were. And so, initially early in my career, it was always a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, but then I actually realized for me, it was a strength. And I'm fully supporting people who go to college. My kids go to college. Like, I get it. But I think because I didn't come in with kind of a set of rules, I I asked different questions. And I think a moment for me was when I realized like, oh, wow, okay, that curiosity of wanting to learn something because I maybe didn't learn it in school is what kind of enabled me to ask different questions. And so I think that was a defining moment. And I also feel like it made me hungry for reading books, meeting with mentors, doing things that maybe I wouldn't have done had I gone kind of more of the traditional route. So again, I don't know what's an appropriate question or what's inappropriate. I'm just going to ask the question if it comes to my head. So
that's great. Yeah, and don't worry, I'm not going to knock you for not going to college.
That's fine.
I'm not going to knock you for going to college.
Yeah.
As somebody who didn't go to a 4-year university, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I think there's different ways to learn, and I've met plenty of people that have gone, to a traditional 4, but they don't read any books after. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, there's so many things to explore, And I speak a lot at universities, or I've spoke at colleges before, and kids would say, well, I didn't learn that here. It's like, well, that's not an excuse anymore. Like there's so much knowledge available. You can watch a YouTube video and learn how to be a plumber. I mean, there's crazy knowledge available. And so it's not an excuse anymore to not explore that stuff.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, there's, something called continuing education, right? And even if you didn't go to college, you still have that available. Right. And as long as, and especially in the world of marketing, what they teach you in school 10 years from now is not going to be relevant.
Correct.
So yeah.
I think the things that are relevant are hustle, curiosity, and, being okay with being uncomfortable asking certain questions and stuff. I think that's the stuff that kind of stands the test of time.
Yeah.
I look for that because I think a lot of other stuff can be learned. But having that curiosity and that spark is something that's innate, I think, in certain people. And I think that, like, when I've hired people or interviewed people or whatever, I look for that. Like, give me that feeling, and then we'll figure out the rest.
Yeah.
Because without that, it's really hard to even teach somebody something.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. In fact, okay, so actually it opens up a question for me. When you get somebody new in the team, the main things you look for are what they are good with. Was it, as a team player, or they're a creative, or they work hard, or what is it that's like your top priority?
No, I mean, I think there's that old saying, hire for spirit, train for skill. So I think you're looking for that. You're looking for those soft skills. And it's a little different, I think, too, in the manufacturing space that we're in, obviously, because there's certain manufacturing things that we're looking for. But I would say in the creative space, in the past, when I'd hire creatives or work with a freelancer or whatever, I was really looking for that excitement around what they're doing, and also them being open about the way they think. Because sometimes you look at, let's say you're looking at a portfolio of work, you look at somebody's finished piece, you don't really know what went into it. What I'm looking for is the insight into how they think, and looking at that going, okay, is this something that we could leverage on this project, or is this somebody that would fit good with the team because of the way they think and the way they see the world? So I think it's those like soft skills more than it is a specific skill. I say that with the caveat that obviously in manufacturing, there's very specific skills. So it's a little different at West America than it's been in the past in my career. So.
Okay, great.
Rogue Collective is a playground for creatives with room to create, collaborate, work, and play. Members have access to our collaborative workspace, our podcast studio, creative and community-based events, conference rooms, call booths, yard games, photo video studio, and just like a ton more. And with memberships starting out at just $99 a month, there's like no good reason that you're not already here. But I'm going to give you one. Right now, you can try it out for a week for free. So visit roguecollective.com to learn more, or just come on by. That's roguecollective.com for more info. Rogue Collective, a playground for creatives like you.
Is there a project you can think of at West America that has shifted the way that you think about what you can do for your clients?
I think for us, like I think of one of our own projects, it wasn't maybe a specific item, but we did I think it was about 2 years ago, we did an open house. It was right around the time that we had moved our wide format production facility right down the street from our main litho production facility. And so we were kind of looking for a way, we had some new equipment, we were just looking for ways to interact with clients. And so it also gave us a deadline to kind of finish decorating some parts of the space, which I needed. And so we decided to do this open house, and we did this whole miniature golf theme. And so it really allowed us to kind of express all the different capabilities we have in an event. So everything from the invitation to how people were welcomed to the event to the signage throughout the event. We did like a 9-hole tour around the 2 plants, and then did some really fun interactive stuff. I mean, the invitation was this pop-up windmill with a little putter and a ball that you could, I mean, it was super cool, like super fun. Even things like some people took golf carts to get between the 2 buildings, but there was also the process of walking between the 2 buildings. So we put signage along the street to kind of encourage them on their way. I mean, it was just like this explosion of my creativity, which was super fun. But I think the way it changed for me is it really showed me, for us, the importance of having people to the facility as a tour. I think it kind of makes it real. And I think there's an interest right now in like how things are made by a lot of creatives. And so for them to see the equipment, see how it works, it kind of the tours have become a big part of how we kind of interact with clients and show them things. And it also is the best way for me to kind of show the depth of capabilities that we have versus maybe a printed piece or something, like being able to actually walk them through a tour. So the event was awesome, it was successful. We got work from it, but it was also kind of set the tone for like, we tour really well. I mean, you've been there.
Yeah.
Tours really well.
I was going to say.
And I think there's a curiosity, especially amongst younger creatives, which is exciting for me because I think of, like, I'm geeked out about it. I love, the tangible nature of print. To see younger creatives when they come in for a tour, or, we do things with kids and teach them about print and stuff. I think it's super cool to see that. So.
Oh, yeah. I've been to your tours, like you said, and it's amazing. Your location, I mean, your 2 offices are great, and where you do the large format stuff is so cool. And then there's little things that a lot of people are not aware of that goes into the printing process. Like just the fact that you have a resetting kind of a plate. So when you're looking at it with your eyes, so that you don't like just looked at something that's a different color, and now you look at this and now you're not sure if this piece of paper is white or not.
Right.
It's like all those little things. It's just that's what blew me away, and I'm glad you guys look at every single detail.
Yeah, I think the internet has done a little bit of a disservice to print because you just upload a PDF and it shows up in your door and you don't know what goes into it. But I think when you see the craft, especially on the level of stuff that we do, I think you have this appreciation for the people that are behind it and really make these print pieces. And it just has a certain feel to it. So again, I geek out about it because I'm kind of into that craft. I come from a time when you mentored under people that really understood a craft, and I think some of that is lost now. So
yeah, well, I mean, I gotta say, from seeing the kind of stuff you guys do, I wouldn't be comfortable doing something like that with like Vistaprint or something, right? You kind of go to where.
Well, I think there's different levels too. Like there's definitely there's a convenience factor and obviously a price factor with certain print vendors, and I think understanding which work needs to go which place is important. So.
Yeah. Okay. Imagine you have a time machine. You get in your DeLorean, and you go back to visit your younger self.
Okay.
You go, Marty, look, you got to watch out for something. What would you tell your younger self? Any piece of advice?
I think maybe don't sweat the small stuff, even if it's a little cliche. I think about like how amped up I would get about things at the end. It didn't really matter. I think as you get a little more mature, you learn not to be shaken as much. And I think, and I don't know if I would have taken that advice when I was younger, because, when you're younger, you're just, everything kind of gets you amped up. And so, but I think it would be like, gosh, I spent a lot of time worrying about certain things or getting amped up about things that in the end didn't really matter. And so don't sweat the small stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. I wish I could tell myself that too.
Right? You still have your moments.
Yes. Okay, Luke, in your opinion, what separates a good print piece from a truly exceptional one?
I think a good print piece is executed well, and the technical aspects of it are executed well. But I think a exceptional piece kind of merges the strategy of why, like you really can answer the question why we did this piece or what the reason for it was. It solved that problem in a really creative way, and it was very well executed. I think that's the difference. I also think the timeliness of it, like from a marketing standpoint of, it engaged the audience in the way that you wanted it to, in the timing that you wanted it to. I think that's the difference between a good piece and a great piece.
Okay. I've seen a lot of things that, in my opinion, would have been great pieces, but maybe you're probably be like, oh yeah, we've done that. It's fine.
Well, again, I mean, I think there's stuff that's really cool, but I think that's where like the tension between my creative brain and my business brain are always a little bit at odds. Like I look at something, especially as I've gotten more mature in my career, like, yeah, it's really fun to do really creative stuff, but did it solve the problem that we set out to it? Or was it just creative? And I'm okay if it was just creative and that was the purpose of the piece. But that doesn't excite me as much as knowing, like, not only was it super creative, and because some of the pieces can be really simple, but if they're executed well and the strategy behind it was really well, they'll have a much larger impact.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when I used to work at, I used to produce a lot of infomercials, and there would be a shot that, maybe the director really wanted to make this happen, but it would cost a lot of money, take a lot of time and everything. And then the executive producer would come in and go, is that really going to sell us more vacuums?
Right. Yeah. I think you have to. And I think as you get more mature in your career, once you've kind of done the super creative stuff, or maybe won some awards for the stuff or whatever, that becomes less of the issue. And it's more about, like, did this really fix the problem that I was trying to fix? And that's just, I think, some of the maturity thing too.
So when you're working with a brand, where do you begin? Is there like the tactile experience, the message? What's like the starting point?
So I think some of that has changed for me coming on board at West America, because obviously early in my career I was doing a lot more brand work and more on the creative side, and so I would kind of dive into the brand strategy and positioning and things like that. I think on the print side we're a lot more kind of in the deliverable realm of delivering a successful piece. And so I think beginning with the end in mind of, like, understanding what they're trying to accomplish with the piece is important. And I also think that I think my role a lot of times is to sort of bridge the gap. So most printers understand how to execute something technically. They understand how to manufacture something. There's a real deep knowledge of materials and techniques and things like that. On the brand side, designers and creatives maybe understand messaging, they understand strategy, they understand kind of how to execute on the creative side. I find myself a lot of times in the middle, helping them bridge that gap, because I have a pretty deep knowledge of both. And so I think where I start on projects or how I'm involved in projects is definitely very different at West America versus my past as more of a creative director.
AdTalkOC is proudly brought to you by IG1 Communications and the American Advertising Federation of Orange County, the community where marketers, creatives, and advertisers come together to learn, connect, and grow. If you're looking to level up your skills, expand your network, or stay ahead of what's happening in the industry, AAFOC has you covered with workshops, speaker events, and exclusive member opportunities all year long. Join the community that's shaping the future of marketing in Orange County. Visit aaforangecounty.com to learn more and get involved.
So obviously formats in the marketing world, everything's evolving, right? And so I'm assuming it's the same with print. So how do you keep your ideas fresh as all these specs and everything, it's all changing?
I think I think about like a tool bag of all the different things you could do on a campaign. And I think materials and the way you execute a print piece, or the way you do maybe online marketing or whatever, that's just a giant set of tools. And so I think you have to kind of take a step back and really understand, like, what's the reason for the piece before you dive into the tool bag. And so I think, as materials evolve or technology changes, it's just adding more tools to the toolkit. And so I think you have to know and understand what's available and kind of stay up to date with what's available. But at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of people that maybe get stuck on the tool too much and not actually on the strategy of, does this solve something? Because I think if you understand that, if you understand what are we trying to solve, then I think you can look at that set of tools and go, okay, how do we push the limits and pick the right tools for this particular task? And I think it's the same thing on materials.
Okay. Yeah, there's no one size fits all solution for everybody. So.
And I think sometimes people try to just check boxes because maybe someone else is doing it. But I think you really have to ask the tough questions of like, is this legitimately solving a problem? You know, versus saying, yeah, we did it too. It's like, well, maybe our market's different. Maybe the way we're positioning something is different. Maybe we don't need to do that thing, and instead we need to do this other thing.
What is the biggest mistake that, in your opinion, brands are making when using print?
I think of two. I think sometimes print becomes an afterthought, and it's not. Maybe a brand doesn't look at their entire campaign or their entire year or what they're trying to accomplish and figure out where print fits into that and how it's integrated with the other things that they're doing. Again, it's kind of becomes an afterthought. It becomes a deliverable more than some sort of driver driving whatever engagement at whatever part of the process they want. So I think there's some of that where they feel like they have to check that box, just like all the other marketing boxes maybe. So I think figuring out, like I always actually like to ask the questions like, what is this piece supposed to do? And then what comes after? And what's the next thing after that? Like really kind of map out, like what are we expecting out of this? Because I know, there's a lot of marketing that happens where maybe there's not any follow-up or the follow-up's not really thought through. So I think of events, for example, everybody's trying to get ready for that event or that trade show, and they don't think much about what happens after. And so a lot of the follow-up doesn't get done. And so I think that's the first one. I think the other thing is maybe not getting the vendor or the printer involved early. I think because printers kind of tactically execute something in the manufacturing space, I think that a good vendor is very good at the collaboration side too. We have an understanding of how to manufacture something, or maybe we have something that someone else did that we could adapt or whatever. Like there's a creativity to that and figuring out like different ways of using print. And so I think if you're able to get the vendor involved early and collaborate with them early, there might be more things on the table than you realize. And there might be ideas that you have access to that maybe you didn't think you did. And certainly the longer you wait and you get closer to that deadline, whatever it is, some of those ideas might not be on the table anymore because of just schedule or budget or whatever. So I think getting the vendor involved early, especially in larger campaigns, even if it's just to talk about ideas before you even get to, like have the vendor help you decide what to do instead of just getting a price on what you want to do. I think that's important.
That's a great point. I think kind of the same rules apply to video.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we want to make a video. Okay, what are you going to do with it? I don't know. We're just going to put it on our website. Okay, you don't have a strategy with that? I mean, yeah.
And I think good vendors that like want to collaborate, and there's certainly vendors that it's more just execution. Upload a file, I get this printed. It's and that's fine. But I think I know where we try to position ourselves as more of this collaboration partner, and certainly that's the relationship we have with kind of our long tenured clients and our best clients. They see us as a resource of ideas, and I think maybe I don't know. If I had to put myself in a print buyer position, maybe they feel bad because they feel like, well, this isn't a real project yet, so I don't want to waste a bunch of time talking about it. But we love that. We love being part of the solution and coming up with ideas because I think it really builds that relationship long term. And like I said, I think our best clients would see us as that partner. And that's more than just ink on paper. Exactly. That's really helping them come up with a solution and a creative solution at that.
That's great because that's where you can come in and really be valuable to them. So awesome. So Luke, let's pretend you have a crystal ball in front of you.
So we've gotten a time machine and now we're in crystal ball. Okay.
Exactly.
Good.
I guess you could technically use a time machine,
but maybe
maybe we're out of plutonium.
Well, I'd have to get in the car and make sure the flux capacitor is working.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we don't have Mr. Fission yet.
Yeah.
So you have to find more plutonium. So unfortunately, you can't go
crystal
back.
Ball. Easier. Right?
Yes.
It's more believable.
Exactly. So you have a crystal ball, and you're looking into the future. How do you see print evolving?
I think there's two parts. So I think what's happening with a lot of the digital print space, right now, and digital equipment and short run and variable data and things like that, where used to be where you had to print, I got to print 10,000 of these. They're going to sit on the shelf. At some point we're going to throw the last 3 boxes away and print the next version. I think that's slowly becoming kind of a thing of the past. And you're seeing a lot more short run, print on demand, variable data, where it's not just an imprint of a name, but actual data is changing. Graphics are changing, photos are changing, all that kind of stuff. So I think that side of the print business is going to continue to evolve, where the equipment's going to get faster, and have more capabilities, things that, where you could do variable packaging, you could do things like that. So I think that's the print side. I think with AI and some of the kind of understanding like marketing segments and understanding people's behavior and things like that, I think that's also evolving. And I think at some point they're kind of going to merge together, where I don't think it would be unrealistic to think that you could have a print experience close to real time, where we know about certain behavior online, where now my catalog that I get is completely tailored to me. And so it's there in some respects, but it's not quite. And I think that's where it's going to be really interesting, because I think the personalization of print as that equipment evolves will then catch up to kind of where online marketing and things like that are going. And I think it's going to open up a lot of opportunities to create more of an experience that way. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't think we were going to mention AI in this show. So
because I'm just a printer, right? Yeah.
Seems like everywhere you hear there's AI, and there's even an element of AI in print.
Yeah.
So, wow. Beyond your traditional metrics, how do you measure success of a printed campaign?
I think the clients that I've seen that have measured it well, they measure the impact that print has on the broader campaign, as opposed to tying certain metrics just to the print campaign. Because we've definitely, like print by itself, the metrics maybe aren't as strong, or as maybe strong is not the right word, maybe as immediate and down to the penny as digital. But I definitely know that the value of including print in a campaign is there. We've seen a lot of like, hey, we ran this campaign last year as just a purely digital campaign. Here were the results. We included a print piece this year or whatever, and here were the results. And so I don't know if that's as argued anymore. I think people agree that print, certainly on certain campaigns, is a valuable part. I think the other thing that is maybe not as measurable, especially, I'm going to mention AI again. I think as AI kind of tends to evolve, there's a lot of questions around like what's true anymore. And I think with the investment in a print piece, or print being part of the campaign, it allows a brand to kind of show the intention of truth. Because you think about, like, I got to go through the expense of producing the print piece and mailing it and all the things that come with that. I'm probably not going to go through that if I'm not trying to kind of tell some sort of truth about the brand. So I think print actually adds a layer of trust to a campaign that maybe digital is lost a little bit, because of just maybe even just the amount of digital that we consume on a regular basis, whereas print kind of creates maybe a more tangible experience and a more kind of uninterrupted moment. Yeah. It's interesting. I used to read books, hard books, and then I went to a Kindle, and that's fine. And then I went to just having them on my phone, but it's so distracting to read on my phone because it's easy to jump in and out. So I've actually gone back to printing books, which is really weird, but it's that undistracted moment that I was looking for. Like, I don't want to be distracted. I want to actually finish this book.
Yeah.
And so I think in the case of brands, I think that creates a little bit of a trust where they're able to engage somebody differently than digital. So
that makes sense. I think if it's not on a screen, it just makes it stand out more, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing against what I do, but honestly, if it's on a screen, everything else is on a screen now. So now you have that.
Well, but even on a screen. So this conversation is, you and I are sitting, and we're taking time to have this conversation. And I think podcasting has shown, like, people actually will sit down and have long form conversations, and they enjoy. Yeah. And especially, so in some ways, even though this is a digital experience, it's slowing things down. I think that's the common thing. It's like, it's an undistracted moment. Unless, people have tuned out, obviously. But I think it creates those longer, and we've seen with the rise of podcasting, like people sit and listen to a 2-hour conversation.
Yeah.
Which nobody would have predicted that. People think that it's got to be this rapid fire, but I think people are fatigued by that. And they want to really get to know something or get to know someone or experience something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have a lot of times like marketing managers will be like, oh, this video needs to be under 90 seconds because this and that. I'm like, okay, I get that. But just look at the most popular videos on YouTube. Yeah. They're over 20 minutes long.
Right.
You know? So, all right, let's talk about packaging. Because packaging is exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, I love getting something and opening it up and stuff. And there's creative ways to do packaging, right? So what do you see? How do you see that evolving and kind of maybe standing the test of time when it comes to packaging?
I think packaging... I think the trend will continue that it's become part of the brand experience. It's not just the thing that holds the thing. It's actually part of the experience of how you open it. You know, I think Apple was the first to pioneer that, of creating a whole experience of even like how do these two boxes come apart? Like, what does that feel like? You know, what does the satin feel of the packaging feel like? And so I think that is, especially with advances in digital and some of the other things that are happening in the short run packaging world, I think even kind of smaller brands are understanding that it's more approachable now, that they can create that experience. You're seeing a lot more opening experiences. You're seeing a lot of embellishments and things that are happening with packaging. Part of it's to stand out and create that experience. I think people also realize, we saw it with all the unopening or unboxing experiences on social media, that there is something to kind of going through and how do I open this product? What do I see first? I think that'll continue. And I think, again, going back to the digital print side, I think as digital continues to evolve, you're going to see a more personalized experience too. Like, I don't think it's out of the realm to think that we'll have individual personalized packaging. People ultimately want to feel like they made the right choice in whatever product they're buying or company they're interacting with, and they want to feel special. They want to feel like this person is slowed down long enough to connect with me, as opposed to this is just some commodity thing that I bought off the shelf. And so I think you're seeing that, especially in like the shorter run packaging world.
So, Luke, what is your philosophy for inspiring your team to be creative and work together, all that?
I think like trying to instill that curiosity and like that's the thing that's the hardest thing, I think, to translate. I think there's, having people that know how to do a skill is great, but I think getting them to be curious about something, so being intentional about how you do that. I think creatives are also looking for kind of direct feedback, and so teaching young creatives how to accept that feedback and not take it personally, and understand that like it's about the work and it's about the work being better. Yeah. And so I think going back to my other answer about don't sweat the small stuff. I think getting worked up about somebody saying something about the piece. I think of all the business people I've met over the years that were really good at being respectful, but also being very direct. And I have a newfound respect for that. Like, there's an art in being direct about something. And I think of inspiring a team, like teaching people that, hey, I'm going to be direct. Like this is not up to snuff, or this is where I think we could go. Don't take it personally.
Yeah.
And some of it is just, it has to happen with maturity. You become less offended by things, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, if the goal is to make the work better, and that's really what you're trying to inspire, learning to take that direct feedback is good, and learning how to tactically know when to apply that direct feedback. And then again, supporting the curiosity side. And then one of the other things that I do, again, we're in a little bit different space because of my background being creative, but now I'm in more of a manufacturing space. I like sharing the work with everybody in the shop. So there's a lot of like people that, maybe there's a press operator that his job was to print that sheet of paper, but he never saw like what the final outcome was. So I love going out and showing them like, hey, you were part of this part of it, but here's actually what it became.
Yeah.
Because there's this connection now to that thing or that craft. And the same thing would be with feedback. If we have great client feedback, I love sharing that with other people on the team to say, man, you're part of this great experience that a client had. And I think that creates that inspiration where it's like, I'm excited to be a part of something.
That's great. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So West America is a major sponsor of the AAFOC. Obviously, we will thank you for that very much. We're very excited to be, to collaborate on all these events with the AAFOC. And I want to ask you, how has your experience with AAFOC been? And any takeaways?
I think it's been great. I think, obviously me being creative and coming from that background, like, it just starts where my heart is. I love being around other creative people. And so it's been an interesting way to get it back into the community. So we love being a part of it. West America has a number of clients that are part of AAF or part of the Addies and things like that. And so it's been a great way to be in front of clients and kind of collaborate in the community. So for me personally, it's been fun to be around creatives, but also with the client side, it makes sense. It's interesting. I think on our wall, we have like a repeating kind of tagline, I guess, that's throughout the building, and it says Orange County's favorite printer. And so I think of like why we're involved with AAF, and it's really because that's what their favorite printer would do. They would be involved. They would be involved in the community. They would connect with creatives. And obviously we're working together all the time anyway, so it's just fun to be a part of that environment.
That's great. Yeah, and it's always fun to have you, all these events. I love running into you. And of course, the print series that you've put together, we're looking forward to the next one in 2026, early 26. I think definitely looking forward to that. And I learned a lot in the first two. It was like, wow, it's things I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go into some rapid fire questions.
All right.
So you get 30 seconds to answer each one.
Okay. Is there a timer? Is that what this is? A timer?
There you go, yeah.
Okay, ready?
It's your chess timer. Ready?
Here you go.
Okay. What's one campaign you wish you had created?
Oh.
I'll give you an extra 5 seconds.
Oh my gosh, I can't even think of a campaign right now. That put me on.
Anything that's out there that you're like, man, that's
I'm
awesome.
so far removed from that world. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Anything you've seen out there in the print world or, whatever, you go, ooh, like you were mentioning the Apple packaging, right?
Mm.
Do you wish that you had been involved with that? Like, cause that really changed, like that was a game changer. All of a sudden the computers, the phones, everything, it's like this white boxes and it just feels so good. And all of a sudden everybody wants to do through packaging now.
Gosh, I think of stuff like that and I go, I don't even know if I could operate at that level of intent and creativity. Like you see stuff like that that's inspiring. I think the angle would more be like, I would love to have been a fly on a wall and really learn from like what went into that. Was it like some of the creative that happens where it was a mistake and you just happened upon something and you didn't even know and you were actually convinced it wasn't going to work and it did, because there's so many things like that where you do and you go, well, that worked out better than expected, or was it really planned out and executed? I don't know. That stuff feels like it's a little over my head.
That's okay. That was actually a better answer than I would have expected from that question.
No, so. I thought you were going to say better answer you expect from me. So.
Yeah. Okay. What is your favorite restaurant in Orange County?
Well, I have to say Hickory and Spice because my dad has his restaurant doing barbecue. So, yeah.
Nice.
I'd have to say that, right?
Yeah, you have
my
to.
dad. I have to.
Yes.
Got to keep in the family.
What is the best piece of advice you've ever received in your world?
I think what I said, don't sweat the small stuff. I mean, honestly, I feel like some of my mentors have told me, there's been a number of times in my career that told me, like, you just need to calm down on this a little bit. So that's been a consistent thing, I guess. Maybe I haven't learned yet.
No. They keep telling you.
Yeah, I'm thinking, wait a second. That's continued advice.
Oh. What is the one word that best describes Orange County?
Oof. expensive.
I have to agree with that word.
I'm in it right now. I had 2 kids in college, or one in high school, one in college. And yeah,
Oof,
expensive.
yeah. What brand today do you think is absolutely nailing it?
I think the one that comes to mind is somebody we work with, and that's Oakley.
Uh-huh.
Oakley is like rediscovering their story right now, and it's really cool to see. Like, it's been there the whole time, but I think they're really discovering like the legacy of what, the fact that everything's made here in the U.S. and the quality of what they do, and just the history of Oakley is so rich, and I think that's really cool to see. That's the one that comes to mind.
And they're in Orange County.
They are in Orange County, and they were founded here in Orange County.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, super cool.
All my glasses are always Oakley.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, mine too.
Nice. What is the best place for brainstorming?
I don't know if I have a best place, but I do think disconnecting from technology. I'm a big fan of pen and paper. I'm a big fan of, like, I've been kind of revisiting this crazy eights technique that I learned. You can Google it, but you fold a piece of paper into 8 squares, and you have 8 minutes to come up with 8 different ideas to solve whatever the problem is. Wow. And it really forces you to, but I think pen and paper, I heard somebody say, like, if you use a piece of technology to brainstorm, you're thinking about the app and all the different things like that. But pen and paper is such a part of us, because we, all the way back to as kids, as color crayons. When you're using pen and paper, you're thinking about what you're actually trying to solve. And you're not thinking about how to finish it. You're just thinking about, like, jotting down notes and ideas. So I don't know if it's necessarily a place, but I really feel like pen and paper is the way to go.
Oh, I get it. Totally. In the last tour that I went to your place, you gave out these like little notebooks.
Yeah.
Mine's already been used up.
Oh yeah. Well, I should have brought some more.
Yeah.
I know a printer. We can get some done.
Yeah. That's right. Okay. My favorite happy hour spot in Orange County.
Oh gosh. I love being down at Wild Taco in Newport when the weather's warm.
Oh yeah.
There's something about, like, that when the light gets long, and I have a lot of memories down there. I had a friend that had an office down there. We'd spend a lot of time there. So
nice.
I think Wild Taco, it's one of my favorite spots. There's something about that end of day sunlight that's just awesome.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Yeah, that sounds cool. I think I might go there for my next happy hour.
There you go.
I have a lot of happy hour meetings. So.
Oh, well, I need to take a lesson then, because I don't know all the happy hour spots.
Luke, thank you so much for being our guest on our show. Really appreciate having you. And of course, it was very insightful. I'm really glad we got to talk and sit down, and I think we learned a lot. And anybody watching is going to learn a lot as well. And thank you for Row Creative for giving us the space to shoot. And if you want to learn more about West America Printing, make sure you check out their website, mywestamerica.com. All right. Well, thanks, Luke.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
It's all right. And cut.
Big thanks to Luke from West America Printing for joining us. Incredible insights, great conversation, and we appreciate your support of AAFOC. This podcast is brought to you by the American Advertising Federation of Orange County, or AAFOC, where we bring together marketers, creatives, and industry pros to share ideas and build community. If you would like to be featured as a guest on our show, shoot us an email. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow AdTalkOC and share it with a friend. Until next time.